had to go back and just relook at this. I was like, am I missing something? Because it's just, I don't understand why people sell it.
This one's come across before, but I haven't, and to my knowledge.
We've talked about this type of situation many times.
Mannie Fresh, though?
Not Mannie Fresh specifically, but
Mannie Fresh,
catalogs. He
sold his catalog to a company called Reservoir Media, who's also known as Reservoir Media Management. They're based out of New York. It's called Reservoir Holdings Incorporated as well. And Mannie says, it's great to be joining up with Faith Newman, who's a member of the board and the entire Reservoir team. He says, I'm grateful for their support, and I know they'll take care of my music. What is that? Like, that's weird to me because the publishing is involved. Everything is involved for his catalog, but he says they'll take care of my music.
If he says so. At the end of the day, me personally.
What am I missing here, bro?
Nothing. I mean, if people want to sell their music, they can sell it. Because you can't take it with you at the end of the day.
You can't.
But
you can't.
I would, if I was to do it myself, if I had family members, I would somehow cut them into the deal.
Thank you.
To where if anything were to happen to me or in the, you know what I'm saying, in the distant future, my family would get some kind of percentage of it.
Benefit off my legacy.
Yeah, so I wouldn't necessarily sell the whole thing.
Okay.
I would keep a certain percentage for them. I mean, because that's what we do it for, right?
I would agree.
For legacy and for long-term benefits. That's the only thing that I would personally do. But I don't see anything wrong with actually selling it.
See, but I like your train of thought as it relates to keeping a portion so that my fam can be cut in for generations.
Right.
Right? Like, because once you give it up, whatever the lump sum is, which was not, to my knowledge, unless I missed it in this article, was not announced. But
it's gone at that point.
It's exactly.
And if we know the key to success in America is built on legacy.
Right.
Because there's people whose families are still pretty much on top of things based on some stuff that happened in the 1800s.
Right.
Generational wealth is all set up to where now my relatives hundreds of years from now are still eating off of this.
And they'll be straight.
Exactly.
Yeah,
How much, do they have a number?
I didn't see a number in the article that I pulled from.
There
Vibe.
was a number. I had seen a number. I can't remember what the number is.
Yeah, for what I saw on Vibe, I did not see a number.
Though.
Yeah, it's going to be
millions.
Mannie's catalog is stupid. You got to remember.
But at the same time, how much? What does he get to sell? Considering he was the producer.
Mm-hmm.
But also there has to be a situation where the actual performer, and we talk about mechanical rights and performance rights, like what? Because Mannie Fresh, for all I know, he has one actual solo album.
Well, it says includes both publishing and recorded music rights.
Okay.
So
but we also know how jumbled the situation was at Cash Money.
And probably still is.
Yeah.
That may be why he wanted to liquidate it too.
But the thing is with Mannie Fresh too, his splits are going to be different because a lot of his production was in samples.
Well, this is
so
true.
He's got a lot of original compositions.
Almost none of his music is sampled.
Yeah, like he's got some here and there, but the majority of Mannie's, to his credit, production is original compositions. So his splits are different.
I don't know. I understand the.
I'm not mad at him now. I'm just saying I would have tried to, like Terry said, I would have tried to keep something in the fam.
When I hear when you get a certain number, what you can do, you're still talking about generational wealth, is if you don't trick it off.
That's the part though.
And there's still a situation where like, okay, these people are going to administer my music.
Mm-hmm.
Is he selling off? And when they administer the music, say they put it on a soundtrack,
okay,
or it winds up being a commercial,
right?
Does he get nothing? Like, I'm under the assumption that like they're just having the ability. There are people who are going to sit in the office, figure where can we place these records, and then
it's going to be in a Chevy commercial.
Yeah,
definitely.
Big. I can see real big in a Chevy commercial. Something like that.
And Mannie's lump sum or whatever said amount is.
And he still gets a percentage because it is still his, if he's selling everything.
It says publishing and recorded music rights, man, is what it says. So
it sounds like everything to me.
That sounds like everything.
But I believe he still has a right, like you was talking about, performance type things or whatever. He still has a right to perform.
That kickback, though.
But I mean, Lil Wayne is rapping on some of those beats.
True.
So what does that mean for Lil Wayne? So Lil Wayne has his own share.
Didn't he
that
sell?
He owns.
He's only
correct?
sharing his percentage of the publishing
Okay.
of that. Yeah.
So his royalty stake.
Okay.
So it's
Good
not
call,
100% owned by this company, so to speak.
I would just hate for, okay, say the number is 80 million. You know, I would feel some type of way if, okay, you sold this for 80 million, they find a way to make 800 off of it.
Well, they're going to. That's the reason why they
yeah.
bought it.
Exactly. They're not stupid for buying this.
They wouldn't get into this if they didn't have the vision to do
Yeah,
this.
that's the whole reason that they
But
bought
at the same
it.
time, like of that 800 million that they make off this, how much do they give to you?
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing, because
If it's
Once
zero,
you sell it, I
if
mean,
it's
it don't
zero,
matter.
then I'm
There
not
we
sure
go.
these are good
Just like
deals
in the
or not.
game, somebody might sell a whole pound, or they might break that pound down and make a whole lot more off of it than they did if they sold it as a lump sum, like he did. He sold it as a lump sum.
I mean,
They're about to break all of that down and make a whole lot of money.
You know, when
of
I
it.
heard about Future doing it, I was like, okay, he sold, but Future still makes music.
right.
So it's like, okay, I gave you that, but I still have this. Maybe I'll be in a situation where if I sold you this for 80 million, if you want to buy what I do next, you're going to have to come off 800 million. It's so complicated. And the thing is, we look at the numbers and be like, man, I wish somebody give me that kind of money.
I'm telling you.
But at the same time, when you look at that
I
kind
can't
of
count
money,
your pockets.
nobody's going to give you that kind of money if they don't
Everybody's
see a
doing
10x return from it.
Yeah, just what's his name did the same thing most recently. Dude that's so strung out on Ashanti. Irv Gotti.
Irv Gotti.
Yeah.
Why you describe him that way?
I mean, because
I
he
mean,
knew who it was.
I knew exactly who it was.
Well, Long, what'd you say, Long? You didn't have any question. You knew exactly who that was.
Yep.
He sold all his stuff too.
For
He
like
did.
300.
Right.
Yeah.
And
He got a
he
bag.
said he did his in order to make his production company, his movie production.
Well, yeah,
because
because now he's not even in music.
Right.
I mean, I'm not bad at it. I just, like Terry said, to me, it's the generational wealth comment. It's the grandkids. It's that. You know what I'm saying?
Set
Like,
my family up, man.
yeah,
That's where I'm at with it.
So somebody
I
can
would
have a
do
piece
it.
of something.
I'm gonna do it, or at least put the money that you made off of it into some trust that they're going to inherit it. But I would just hate to see, like you were saying, you sold it for 80 million, they made 800 million off of it, because that's going to happen. So
Yeah.
whoever
And you
is
talking-
coming up is going to see that. They're going to witness that and be like, well, I mean, I'm well off, but I could have been a whole lot more well off.
As long as
had
they don't do them like they did.
my great grandfather hadn't sold the catalog off.
Yeah, if they didn't do them like, what was that group? The Beach Boys. Do you know that story? Like, basically, like, the Beach Boys' dad was their manager,
Mhm.
and he didn't know business. And so he sold, like, all their songwriting, all their publishing for, like, maybe $3 million.
Oh man,
And it was, and
that's
it,
tough.
Might have been a lot.
it
back
might not
then.
even been that much. You know, and, you know, I saw the story where it was worth like 300 million, you know, especially when they're, you know, because every group like that hits their nostalgia boom.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
once theirs hit and everybody started going back and rediscovering pet sounds, and
Yep.
they started re-releasing, you know, the stereo mixes and all this. And it was like, you sold that almost out of spite.
Who bought it?
Yeah.
Michael Jackson.
Shoot.
Probably.
What you say,
It wasn't
Long?
Michael Jackson, but like, you know, there was like it wasn't a great biopic about the Beach Boys.
Isn't
But
Kevin Love's uncle one of the Beast Boys, or is his dad one of the Beast Boys? It's
Kevin
one of
Love's
the
a
two.
basketball player.
yeah, he's
His
related to one of the
I think
Beach
his
Boys
uncle
somehow.
is one of the Beast Boys, low
Yeah.
key.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I know this sounds wild as hell, but if you ever had, everyone who's watching and listening, you need to check out Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys. It's one of my favorite albums. It is incredible.
That's big, man.
Like, you know, it's
Good vibration.
no, not that. That's a different Beach Boys. That was a different era for the Beach
I
Boys.
say I'm about to ride home jamming that.
That's actually a good record, though.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you put on Pet Sounds,
I
you're
think
like,
that's Lone's
whoa.
ringtone.
You're like, what is this? Like, I didn't, you know.
They ain't getting no money off that falsetto.
Man.
There's some instrumentals on there that I play for people, and they'll be like, whoa, this is the Beach Boys? I'm like, yes, this is the Beach Boys.
You was
Well,
skating through your house in your socks with Beach Boys
With the
playing.
Beach Boys, look, you know,
Cold
and the
Christmas
you
morning.
understand, like, you know, I grew up in a very black household, so we didn't hear. I had to rediscover the Beach Boys later on, specifically Pet Sounds, because there was no Beach Boys records in my dad's collection.
Yeah.
Pet Sounds is like what, like cats and stuff?
Yeah, that's exactly what it
They're
is.
the Beach Boys, so it's probably orcs.
meow.
I hate him, man.
Whale sounds.
Whales, orcas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, okay. Oh, there you
Yeah.
go.
So
No, man.
Pet Sounds is in probably my top 10 albums of all time.
Right.
Man, I've
Yes.
never heard you say that.
I mean,
I've
it just
heard
never
him
came
say
up.
it.
I don't know if I heard you
I'll tell
say
you,
top
yeah.
10.
Yeah, he's brought it up before.
I'm asleep. Okay.
It's right up there with. I'm telling you,
I still
Right
haven't
there,
heard it though.
which Ice-T
I'ma
album
check
is
it
better
out.
than that?
as much as I love Ice-T, there's none of his albums are in my top 10.
At least you honest.
I would hope not, because again, pioneer, but
Y'all need to
not
stop.
a whole
Like,
lot of John Blaze.
I need y'all to stop.
We
'cause
give him
I'm-
his props, but that's where it stops.
No,
Wow.
because I still contend Ice-T has 2, maybe 3 classics.
And I've heard all of Ice-T's albums,
Huge fan.
and
Hey,
he's got some really good singles.
iconic records,
But
legendary.
as far as a whole,
Power and OG are both classics.
Nah.
Power's album cover is definitely classic.
Classic.
No, the actual album.
And it's got some classic songs on it.
Mm.
What's the one where he had the shotgun in his mouth?
How do we get
Ice-T.
talking about
Sean.
Ice-T?
They bring it up. I don't even
Don't do
bring up
that.
Ice-T.
bring it up.
I don't even bring
That's
up
Michael.
Ice-T.
You know Mike like to bring up old
Did
stuff.
you just
I was
call me
talk- I-
Michael?
Yeah.
I've never heard
I was
you-
talking about the Beach Boys. He had to bring up Ice-T.
Hold on. Did you just call me Michael?
Nobody
did.
cares.
Oh, I never hear my name Michael, so
Nobody cares about you, Michael.
excited when you said that. No, any thoughts on Manny, man? I know you don't care, but I'm going to ask you anyway. In terms of what we're talking about with the different angles.
I just, I was just, while you guys were talking, I'm sitting here reading and I'm just looking at the specific. It includes both publishing and recorded music rights. And I'm just sitting here thinking, am I missing something? So it's like publishing is composition, recording is the recording.
Right.
But under publishing is both stuff that gets played on the radio, which is like performing rights, or if somebody like replay, like covers, right? And then you have mechanical royalties, which is everything that is iTunes, digital, selling CDs, all that other stuff. So that's under composition. That's selling all your publishing.
Right.
Recording rights is digital performing rights, which is like if somebody plays it on like Pandora, something like that. And then recording revenue is not mechanical, is what it says here. But I had to go back and just relook at this. I was like, am I missing something? Because it's just, I don't understand why people sell it.
Well,
I just
especially
don't get it.
Mannie Fresh, because
I don't get it.
since so many of his compositions are original and without samples, now we're getting to the point where people are sampling Mannie Fresh.
I just don't understand it.
That when we talked about the original composition part, to me, that makes me want to hold on to it longer because the pie is different to me. There's not a lot of sample clearances. There's not multiple producers or writers listed. Like the majority of his catalog is him. Like to me, I'd hold on to that longer than I would if I
Bieber
was
sell some of his catalog too?
A whole bunch of people have done this.
It's like I think this
The
is just the thing right now.
the
to
last
just
thing
sell
that
some of your stuff off.
I mean, but he's selling all of it, isn't he? It said like 15 records.
I just don't understand
it said
how he
15
can-
song or 15 albums that he has associated with Cash Money is what I read. And so the last time we talked about this, the deal kind of made sense because there was still like splits involved somehow.
right.
He said it's
right.
only 15 songs.
15 albums.
15 albums
On
Like,
Cash
how
Money.
the hell is only 15 songs?
But I don't understand like why you wouldn't keep a small percentage of it.
I don't either.
See?
That's the part that's like confusing to me. And so that's every time I see these articles, there's just not enough information.
almost like
I just
they're-
checked out. I just literally just checked out like 6 different articles on this, and none of them says really anything.
There's
It's
nothing that
almost
we
like
missed.
these companies are telling them it's either all or nothing.
Probably
They're 100% are because they know to Jay Moore's point, he mentioned they know the overall value and the potential
they
of
gonna
the
get it.
catalog.
They gonna
know
get the
that.
money. What's the name? Montel Jordan is on a commercial right now singing "This Is How We Do It" with Diddy. Why is Diddy? He's in the production room.
But you know what's wild
I've sampled.
that too.
It wasn't even produced by Puffy.
But this is the
True.
thing. Because Montel Jordan got into some tax trouble, he had to sell off his songwriting and his publishing. So he had to get permission to sing his own song
record. Yeah.
On that commercial.
in that commercial.
Damn.
Somebody else gets the majority of the money.
How
for that.
crazy
He
is
gets
that?
paid for the commercial,
The
but he
act
doesn't
of
get
doing it.
paid for the music.
That's crazy.
You know, and look, this is the thing that kind of this should bring a certain level of clarity, and maybe there's somebody should tell this to everybody before they do this. Is Between the Sheets by the Isley Brothers has been sampled or reinterpolated something like 50 or 60 times,
Absolutely.
and I'm not sure how their publishing and songwriting situation is, but that should have been like.
Should have took care of his tax evasion.
You ain't had.
I'm just saying.
He said what he said. He said what he said.
You ain't had to do Ronald Ice like that.
But
don't tell the truth about people.
But the thing is, like,
I hate you.
Say they just own 50% of it. Think about what 100%
I mean, 10%
between the sheets looks like. I remember when what's his name sampled for Overnight Celebrity, and it was Twista Overnight Celebrity, and you'll have to look
produced
it up.
By Kanye.
Yeah, produced by Kanye, and the guy who actually made the song, his songwriting, his paperwork was right. Basically, he went to the mailbox one day, was seeing 6-figure checks off of something he had nothing to do with.
Lenny Williams, ain't it?
Lenny Williams, that's right. And so he was seeing big checks because that song was a hit.
Twista, you told her right. Make you a celebrity overnight.
And it was on an album that went platinum.
Kamikaze.
Did Kamikaze go platinum?
Yes, it did.
I'm not surprised.
That was still when CDs was selling.
Thank you.
I mean, we were streaming, but CDs.
No, we weren't streaming. We were downloading.
I don't think we were streaming. Yeah,
yeah.
But
You
we were
right.
buying. If we wanted to listen to that song,
Well, you
over
could
and over,
you could get a iPod then.
Yeah, you could probably buy it through iTunes.
Mm-hmm.
But that was still a purchase.
Yeah, but you had to have something to play it on.
Do you know how many times you got to stream something for it to make 99 cents now?
Yeah,
true.
So so he saw 6-figure checks off of somebody just sampling his music because he had his paperwork together. So I don't know. Like I said, this is above my pay grade, but sometimes when I see things like I was like, you should have held out for something more, but I don't know what the actual number is.